What's up, glorious community? Welcome to our weekly live tutorial on Glorify, and this week's topic is creating a landing page using Glorify. I'm really excited about this tutorial, as you know, I think creating landing pages is really important, especially when it comes to getting your business online these days. It has a high conversion rate if you, of course, structure it and design it in the best way possible. And you know, I think it is really important that you use you leverage the tools that we have in Glorify to optimize your structure and your images in your landing page as much as possible. So I'm just going to wait till people trickle into this live session, and if anyone's on there, give me a shout. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, so drop in the comments if you can hear me and see me clearly. I'd love to know. Cool. Okay, so Ray says sound is loud and clear, so we can go ahead now. Not to waste everyone's time. It's a very busy week for everyone, I'm sure. Let's go straight into the content that we've prepared for you today. Now, first things first, I just want to kind of pre-frame you on terms of what it takes to structure a good landing page, and some of the practices we put on a basic level. I'm not going to go too deep into marketing strategy and landing page strategy because that's a very long topic, but just on a very basic level. So let me first share my screen. And let's see. Hopefully everything's clear. Just getting my windows all sorted out, so I've got everything arranged. Cool. All right, so let me get my landing page, my window up and running. Excellent. I'm sure you guys can see my my screen that I'm sharing right now, right? So I'm going to assume that you guys can see, so I'm just going to jump straight into it. I've prepared a couple of slides just to, like I said, just breeze over what's so important when it comes to some of the key points you need to factor in when you're designing a landing page. First things first, I'd like to say that top fold is the hottest. We spend a lot of time designing landing pages in our team. Our team really takes landing page design as a collaborative process. We brainstorm, we think about the best, most optimum ways to make our landing page convert and drive people to sign up on our platform, to purchase our product. And what you'll see with any heat map tool is the top fold is really where all of it is at. You'll find the traffic, 90% of the traffic will remain on the top fold, and very rarely do they make it through throughout the entire landing page. So with that in mind, what it's safe to say that it's very important to communicate 90% of the value proposition in fewest words possible. Well, of course, you don't want to stuff your top fold with features and a big essay about why your company is amazing. It needs to be concise as possible, and so 90% of the value proposition is the top. You need to have a compelling vision-oriented product image. When I say vision-oriented product image or video, of course, videos are very high converting. We all know that. But when I say vision-oriented, is that you need the picture to speak volumes of your product on the top fold. It needs to have depth so that when someone comes in on the top fold, they get a 360 feeling of your brand and what your product product's value is about. So that's what's important, and hence that's what we focused on in Glorify. You can see our top fold. We've thrown in a bunch of social proof. We've got a very concise headline. We've got a loop video to just really show off the vision and the potential of the product. So top fold is really important. Now let's go into the story structure. Let's zoom into the slide. So story structure is important as well, because really, when it comes to your landing page structure, it needs to be story driven. And when I say story driven, is that it doesn't you can go through a landing page and it's just point 1, point 2, point 3, just trying to force feed the customer down their throat all of the kind of USPs of your product. USPs are of course important, but you have to structure them in the way that drives a narrative through your product. And of course, there's so many ways to do this. Here's a basic structure. We've got cold, for example. Cold, if you're sending leads to a cold landing page, then you need to focus on the problem, the solution, the what, the why. So those are the kind of core things, right? So maybe it can just be a statement about the problem you're facing. Do you, you're not getting enough sales? Are you not able to create more designs efficiently? Are you struggling to hire someone? So those kind of things, the problem can be top oriented. It could be problem solution. You're struggling to hire, we've made it enjoyable to hire, something like that. So you have problem, kind of that, juxtapose problem solution on the top fold. So there's different ways of doing that, and I'll leave that up to you. Benefit feature 1, benefit feature 2, benefit feature 3. Now, when you're listing these features, it should go in a streamlined order, one feature at a time, so that you're communicating the value of features in a prioritization, and also kind of encouraging the story narrative. So maybe the feature, if the product is something to do with, the core feature needs to be the first one that you see. Then sort of the sub features or the features connected to the core features can follow up. And this will be clear once I start to design a landing page for the proposed product. Testimonials are always great to have. And again, this is switchable. Like, there's lots of reasons to believe that testimonials can perform really great when it's on the lower part of your funnel, just to reinforce brand and social proof. But you can also bring it way at the top, and that could just do your conversions a great, just help your conversions a lot. So moving your testimonials up will also really help. So it's just about testing and trialing what works. And when it comes to warm landing pages, what we found to work the best is that because they've already interacted with you, you don't need to even talk about the product. You can just go straight to the testimonial at the top fold. This is something that me and our team learned very recently, and we've been trying to implement. And before, we would communicate a lot of value up front, even on our warm landing pages, but it doesn't make sense because they've already interacted with you. Now, this is just a basic framework. Now, I would recommend, as you can see here, I've mentioned funnel hack competitors and structure your landing page accordingly. What I mean by that is go check who your competitors are, the ones that, of course, that you can validate and they're making sales and they're having some level of success. Study all of them together and kind of brain dump all of the different structures they've had and find the most optimum one that could work for you and your product. Funnel hacking is really important. We spend a lot of time funnel hacking, looking at other competitors, see what they're doing and see what will most likely work for us. Now, with that said, let's jump into creating the landing page. So I want to use an example landing page here. It's Tenzing. It's one of my favorite drinks. It's a all-natural energy drink based out of plants. I'm a big fan of this product. I do recommend that you do check it out. I am not affiliated by them at all. I just really love Tenzing. Now, what I did notice, however, going on the landing page, I felt that this landing page is great. It's powerful, it's engaging. You've got some powerful, strong images. It does communicate the features. It's very vision oriented, and it's got some brilliant testimonials from some of the biggest industry leading publishing platforms. And so that's great to see. However, I do feel that this could have a slight restructure and a revamp, and that's what we're going to do today. And this is going to be based on some intuitive thinking around this brand. Now, Tenzing is an energy drink that is trying to position themselves against the mainstreams like Red Bull and the rest. And something interesting about them is that they have a beautiful story behind their drink. Their drink is sourced or inspired by the Sherpas, or the native people from the Himalayas. And Sherpas have this special brew that they use, and they concoct in the Himalayas to use, then energize them. That gives them a lot of kind of boosts the energy in their body to then make the climb to across the Himalayas and up to the Everest, right? So they recommend this brew, and hence what the founder of this company did, which was brilliant, was take this brew and make it into a carbonated drink, purely, of course, from the same ingredients and same in the same kind of brewing process. So it's a brilliant story, you know, traced back to these native tribe called the Sherpas, and I think it's a great brand story. And more than anything, the branding is just awesome. I love Tenzing is actually named after a specific Sherpa that climbed to the Everest. And so he's well known, and so he named it after him. It's got brilliant branding. It's, you know, you can see the energy, the power of this kind of the decorative elements, showing this kind of very powerful kind of messaging behind it, you know, with this arrow kind of pointing up and elevating your kind of spirit, sort of thing, right? So let's see what we can do with this brand. Okay, so I'm going to go straight into Glorify, and I've got my canvas open. First things first, I want to see what other issues here. Now, I feel that this image, despite this product being so engaging, I feel that it doesn't do it justice being pushed to the far left. I feel that this product is very symmetrical. It's got an arrow on it and looks very symmetrical, and so hence I feel like it should be in the center. This is the core product at the front, and I don't see if it's 100% necessary to show the rest of the products in at least the top fold. I feel that having a cleaner look and just focusing on the main product and then going into some of the other products would be better. And the power of nature doesn't seem as powerful as I want. It doesn't communicate that this is a all purely from plants energy drink that has a brilliant story behind it. So I scrolled down their page and I found a much better statement down here, which is elevate the human spirit with the energy that is good for mind and body and planet. So I just feel that that's much more powerful and it should be way at the top. So let's start designing this image. I'm going to go first and foremost, create this background. It's always, when it comes to creating the top fold of your web landing page, start with the background and work layer by layer. I'm going to go mountain. In fact, I actually favorited a bunch. You can find a bunch of mountains in Pixabay, but I actually favorited a mountain somewhere it's in my favorites. So I'll go to favorites. I did this earlier. I'm going to add this simply in. And this is already cropped for me. It's actually a transparent image, as you can see. And of course, this is, you know, I'm pretty sure it's, you know, it's very easy for you guys by now to simply to take the background removal process into your own hands. It's not hard at all. So I found this picture of the mountains and I removed the sky basically. Now let's add the product. I did upload the Tenzing product earlier, so I'm sure I can find it. Let me add that here. Boom. We put that in the center. Okay, so layer by layer, start to structure this out. I want to add some effects. Okay, before anything, let's start to kind of get the overall structure. If this is the top fold, you know, where's our logo going to be? Where's our menu going to be? These are the kind of the questions that we need to think about. And obviously this is going to be a flat image, so we don't necessarily need to export the logo and stuff like that, but it's good to, when you're creating a top fold banner, it's good to know where those elements are going to be, and you just hide those elements later. For example, your menu, your buttons, because that needs to be done on the website builder, right? I'm going to add the logo, Tenzing logo. Now on the main website, they centered the logo, but you know, if I was to do the same and center this logo, it look weird because we have Tenzing and Tenzing on the can. So I want to keep the product center stage, and that's the center of attention, but I want to move the logo nice and big, but in the corner over here. Now I want to take a better statement that says that communicates what this product is about. First, let's add a button for someone to buy. So we've got some buttons in the shape area, some quick CTA buttons that you can use. Buy now, and boom, we can put that in there. We can sort of make it the same height and use the auto alignment to, you know, position it accordingly, and we pop it around there. Very soon, we're going to have in grid, guys, we're going to have rulers and margins. So far, we just have these grids. So I'm going to use these grids to kind of structure a little bit better so that we got the same gap on either end. There we go. I'm going to close the pages, and I'm going to go into the colors and pick a color that is the same as the logo. So I'm going to use a color picker and boom, pick that logo color. Great. Okay, so we can see that they've got a cart button there. So, to add to cart. So let's add the cart. Go to icons, pick any cart that looks decent. I prefer to do something solid and rounded like this. I think could work. And boom, we can put that there. They put it on the right side. I guess I've seen it done different ways. I'm going to put it on the left. Keys on my keypad to move it granularly. And add that. Cool. All righty. So there's my button. Now the middle is missing a lot of content, of course, and we can feel that. So let's go ahead and add a font that communicates top value, what the product is. We'll add another heading later, but this is just kind of in the navigation bar. And I've seen this with a lot of e-commerce products. In the navigation bar, they tend to add what the product is. So I like to try this and write natural, basically what's on the can, because people can really easily miss this information on the can, but they won't miss what's on the top written in typography. So purely from plants. Natural energy purely from plants. And let's stretch that out. And of course, this font is not going to work. Let's use Bebas, is a narrow font that's bold, similar to the font that these guys are using. Not exactly the same, but yeah. Natural energy purely from plants. We can scale that down. It doesn't have to be so big. It's just a little information. Tenzing is kind of the juxtaposed information of what Tenzing is next to the word Tenzing. We can even potentially add this like that, next to the logo. That could also work. Just to make sure we save space. And then what we can do is add menu items here, like shop. Zoom in. Sorry. Shop. One of the most top things that people would want to know: ingredients, and what else? Shop, ingredients, and let me just find some information on their site, perhaps. Yeah, so I've got their site here, and I'm just picking out some stuff. Story. Okay, so they've got the story as well. So let's add the story. Okay, so this one is starting to get interesting. And we can turn this down. So if you imagine, obviously, let me turn off this grid. You can imagine that basically we can add this a bit smaller. And if you turn off these panels, which you can do in Glorify, okay, what is this website going to look like if you zoom in, right? So you can see the size, and you can clearly see that this banner size is perfect in terms of size. So we don't have any issues here. So yeah, let's move it. Use my trackpad to slide, and let's do this and align middle. In fact, let's align all of these with middle. Oh, and let's go back to 50%, 25%. There we go. Cool. Okay, so that's looking good already. But of course, there's a lot to do still. Okay, it's nowhere close to, where the whole point of this is to make it better than what they already have. I want to add some effects like this, some shadowing and things to just make this a bit more have depth. So I'm going to start by adding a shape at the bottom fold. We can add this nice little square and drop this using the order panel. Just drop layer down until you get to the bottom. And we can we can hold this back up, go to shapes, remove the border. So most of these shapes come with the border. We're working on making sure that, off the bat, we don't have any borders. So that will be, that hotfix will be released soon. And so I want to create this kind of fade effect using gradients on the shape. And I'm going to push this gradient bar a bit further higher. and we can stretch this out, you know, because we want to see the mountains, but we will also want to make it seem like it has no footing or legging, right, to stand on. I want to stretch this and see if we can get this smooth kind of fade. So if you the more you scale it, the more you can get this effect of scale. There we go, somewhere around there. Oh, there we go. Somewhere like that. Cool. All right, so this is looking good already. I'm going to now add a drop ground shadow. And I'm going to go into the vertical distance. Okay, so there's a problem. This ground shadow is massive. So the way to fix that is double click. It's because this cropping area is really large. So squeeze this in so you can get a good cropping area. And then you can go ahead and align center, click done, and then basically go back to your ground shadow and get into the vertical distance and increase the blur all the way. I would also increase the vertical scale. Okay, so that's how shadows work. And I want to kind of like the black shadow doesn't really work. So I'm going to kind of make everything kind of fit into the same tone of things by using the blue that is the dark blue on the can. This will kind of bring some unseen consistency throughout your landing page, even though it's subtle. So I'm going to use this blue kind of shadow and center this up. Now I also want to couple that with this background that I added. I'm going to go to the bottom layer, pick the mountain background, and I want to add some adjustments on this background. So I use the layers panel to pick the background so I don't have to move anything else. And then I'm going to simply do a couple of things. Going to take an overlay and use the kind of turquoise on this mountain and slightly make an overlay on this mountain. Very so slightly, so it kind of creates this effect, as you can see. I'll also reduce the transparency just a bit. So it's just a bit faded. It doesn't have to be so strongly put. Increase the contrast so the details are a bit more stronger. As you can see, the details are starting to show up but much better, and slightly increase the brightness. So when it comes to these kind of skills and techniques, it's really about testing and trialing and just moving these sliders about until you get some kind of effect that blends in well. I'm pretty happy with this effect already. I also want to make sure I highlight some keywords here. Purely from plants. As you can see here, purely from plants in the can is gold. So I want to bring that same consistency. So I'm going to click font and boom, get part of this gold bit there and build that in there. Cool. And there we go. Okay, so there is our pretty much up landing, first image, but we could just need a few more details here. I'm going to add some dirt effects. You can see they got this raw, rugged energy on the top fold, and we want the same thing. So I've got some effects in Glorify that you can use. So I'm going to fill this with again the dark blue on the can, and I'm going to remove the transparency, make it very, very semi-transparent. We can rotate this and find a position for this that works just around there, and maybe even smaller. It doesn't have to be so big and chunky. Just very subtle, and flip this on the horizontal axis. There we go. So we can, there we go. And I'm going to send this to the back layer. Yeah. So there is our, so look, the problem is I sent this to the back and I can't reach it anymore. So the trick for that is basically, go to layers and pick the layer that you want, which is, in my case, it's this shadow thing. Not that one. That's Tenzing. Yeah, I've got that. And then basically click isolate, which is this button here, or right click isolate. And now nothing else can be selected apart from the object that you select. So that's a very helpful technique that I usually use. I'm going to then add another effect, and you can't see them because the background's white. So I have to add this fill color first and then reduce the transparency, but also pick appropriate color, slight blue from the can. And again, okay. just a bit of effects here. And again, I want to flip this horizontally. There we go. Cool. That's looking good. That's how I was hoping it would look like. I'm going to scale down a bit more. There we go. Somewhere around there. Great. Now we got this kind of grungy effect. Now, of course, I can duplicate this one more time and add one more effect somewhere around here, but you have to rotate it and change the positioning so it doesn't look like it's a copy. So that looks better. So we got this very subtle kind of grungy effect going on in the background. I'm pretty happy with that. And what we can do is select all these grungy effects and group them and just to organize and send to back so that they're all on, you know, together. These menu items, send to back. Let me just go into the layers and okay, so this one. Oh yeah, I forgot to turn off isolate. There we go. So I'm sure this is a problem sometimes that make sure when you're working on these layers, make sure you turn off isolate if you've got isolate switched on. I'm going to rename this called effects. You can just double click layers to rename them. And I'm going to move this all the way to the bottom, send to back. There we go. Okay, or you can just drag and drop for some reason. Move this up. There we go. And hide. Cool. Okay, so next up, I want to add some typography to really hone in on the brand here. So I'm going to duplicate this and scale this. And I want to kind of focus on this keyword at the bottom here that says the statement, which is really powerful. Elevate the human spirit with energy that is good for mind, body, and planet. So I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to duplicate it because I don't, you know, we can't have it on just one side. This is a big statement. And so I'm going to delete this part and I'm going to delete this part and drop the font size. Okay, and let's add some good alignment. Okay, now this I want to stretch up a bit higher so that, you know, it doesn't get in the way, and make this white come at the top. So basically this text becomes clearer, and make this text kind of align with the center of the can. And we can change the color of this font to the brand, the logo color, which is this black here that I've saved earlier. So it's the same. It's pretty much black, but you know, you want to get the right colors. So I want to highlight some text like mind, body, and planet. Looks like something we should highlight ideally. So let's grab this color there and elevate the human spirit. I think this deserves to be highlighted, human spirit. And we can just grab that from the font there. So there we go. So we've pretty much covered that entire look and feel. So I've just made sure the width of the box or the stacking of the text is similar on both sides. You get this kind of symmetry. But I'm already pretty happy with this because this shows, okay, natural energy purely from plants, elevate the human spirit with energy that is good for mind, body, and planet. It's got one product. It's clear. The messaging. It's the focus is on the product more than anything, and that was kind of my goal. And I just want to make sure that these are organized. So go to align, distribute horizontally, and there we go. I think we're good to go. Cool. So this is the first image. Top fold. We're done with the first image. I'm going to focus on because obviously we're running out. You know, we are quite pressed for time, and I want to make sure that I'm respectful of everyone's time here. I'll try my best to see if I can finish everything as soon as possible. So I just want to go to the next part. So next part, if you go through here, the way this Tenzing site goes into is it talks about the mission. Personally, for conversions, and I think the reason why they're doing that is because they're mainly attracting people who are wholesalers that want to adopt their product on in their shops, like Sainsbury's, Co-op, and etc. So these are big, market supermarket chains in the UK. Now, I would assume that if they want to position themselves more as e-commerce, more as come into your store and purchase, then you need to change this around a little bit. They got this 20% off your first order, but this is just, you can't even see that. It's doesn't have any prominence. I feel like I need to flip this around. So let's try and do that. So first things first, I'm gonna create a new page, and we can talk about what I feel that we need to talk about to increase conversions of this particular product. Is think about I think I found that there's a great template we have with a mountainous background. So let me find that mountain. Think about what needs to be seen next to increase conversions. Ideally, you want to push them to your product, right? First, so you can communicate value, and again, this is subject to split testing. But I want to try talk about the different flavors they offer and push them to the product. So let's add on current page this template here. Of course, I'm going to delete everything. I don't need this. And even we can keep the button, perhaps. Let's see. Delete that and delete this, delete that and delete that. Cool. Okay, so first things first, I want to so the idea of this image is to focus on the different products they offer. So I want to give like 3 panels. They have 3 flavors. I want to give 3 panels to show, what kind of show the, make it like a little frame for the product. Boom. 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 So here's our 3 little frames. We could go ahead and add our different flavors. We got the berry one, the main product that we all love, and of course the bigger can. I think it's blackberry. For some reason, it's the biggest one. Okay, so I'm going to scale up. It's not centered. So to fix the centering problem, to scale up and move it on the horizontal axis. It's most likely not. You need to move it on the horizontal axis. I'm going to center this up. And there we go. And now I want to think about some copy that we can add here. Okay, this is not the right font I was using. I want to use Bebas New, which is the brand. The font, as you can see in this template, is pinned to the top. I want to say all natural flavor. Flavor chilled with a punch. Okay, so talk about basically the idea here is now we're kind of thinking about what's their main feature, and one of their main features is the different flavors they offer, right? I think it's important to talk about flavor, especially if you're selling a drink. Just energy drink alone doesn't make the cut, right? So hence why I thought showing the products off, but at the same time giving the opportunity to sell the product as well. So you talk about the flavor, but you also have the opportunity to now show off your products, have a call to action. So we can do that now. Okay, so first things first, remember we said in the website, they're trying to promote this 20% off first order when you sign up to newsletter. We can bring that call to action here now. Instead of, make it lost in that page in the middle of the landing page as they did earlier. So I want to kind of bring this in and add 20% off, right? Can make a little newsletter widget on the top here. I want to bring in some normal text actually. So let's maybe choose something like, and let's pick, what do they say here? 20% off your first order when you sign up to newsletter. So when you sign up your first order when you sign to. Cool. Boom. And let's see what we can do here. Change this font to something, because Bebas New is all caps, and we want to find something that is a bit legible. All caps is not legible for a sentence. it's okay for, you know, titles and stuff like that, but never for a sentence. And I want to remove the caps, put that there. So 20% off your first order. So the highlighted part is the 20% off, and then you see the action next to it. So, and then we can add this call to action. Of course, we need to recolor this call to action. It's not in line with the current brand. So button shape, go there and choose the black that we're using. We can change this to sign up. And then maybe, you know, just as reference again, obviously you'll have to do the web building platform, but you can just add a little field as reference. And then when you create the image assets, it won't be for you to align it and great reference that you can go off with, right? So you're kind of mocking up your landing page. So remove the thickness. Okay, so that's what the form would probably look like. And of course, you can add something like drop shadow to make it a bit more highlighted. Higher. So there is your little newsletter you can call widget. Right, so sign up. Obviously, group all this together and move it accordingly. Now, remember, we're using the grids to measure out where we want to position this. I put this 3 squares along, same here. And what we'll then do is take these and move them along and align them with each other. And then simply select all, align to top, align, distribute horizontally. And there we go. We'll move the grid now. Now, I also want to add another button here to basically say, I'll just ungroup these, you know, purchase. So add to cart. Maybe we can say $199. Add to cart, you know, something like that. And then, of course, we can add that between all of these images. So there is your product. We can highlight some of these words as well. All natural flavor, chilled with a punch. Maybe could be like highlighted in a different color. Again, I would pull in some of the colors from here, increase the. Okay. Find a better turquoise. There we go. Okay, so all right. So is everyone with me so far? We're going to come close to an end. Okay, that just got repositioned for some reason. Let me just get that back in line. And horizontal, vertical. There we go. The mountain just in the middle. So I just added a bit of blur. The idea with the blur is just kind of, you know, push the image a bit back. Otherwise, everything is just in the forefront. So it's cool. Now we get to see the flavors. We know this is berry, acai berry, you know, the regular and the raspberry. So that's a feature to speak about, but at the same time, it's calling people to take action to buy it, and also the 20% off pieces over here. So I feel that the flow would be better. Things won't be missed out, like this piece here, and then, you know, everything's condensed, and this menu being stuck. I think this would just be a better strategy for me. Let me know in the comments if you feel this is going to be a better strategy so far. I will do one last image and we can call it off. So the last image I want to talk about is the feature. So we've done, you know, we could do a few features ideally, but again, because of time, what I'm going to do is talk about the core products feature, which is the ingredients. And I think, again, this is very debatable which one should go in the top fold. Maybe the ingredients should go on the top fold. But a cool way of just adding the ingredients, I thought, would be to just have Tenzing scaled up like that. And there was an image found that showed Tenzing's. I'm going to add this as reference by copying it from the browser and clicking Command Paste. That will then add it to the browser, and then we can see what ingredients they offer. So green coffee being one of them. Let me go into one of our other images, copy the text, go to this image and paste that text here. So green coffee. Okay. We can scale that down. And let's actually zoom in so we know how big this page is going to look like. And green coffee, guarana, beet sugar, lemon juice, Himalayan salt, green tea. Cool. Okay, so those are the features. Let's zoom out. I'm going to keep this as a blank canvas, and we can talk about these features on each piece. So let me try and add those. Lemon juice being one, guarana. So there's about how many features in total? So boom, boom. And also what I want to do is make sure all of these are centered. Okay, so we can create this kind of half moon circle. We can just align center. Ooh. This, there we go. And center that up. Bring that, center those two up. Bring it closer so we can create a more of a circle, or half circle. Cool. Okay, so let's try and add some of these ingredients. Now, I'd like to try something different at least. Cool is subjective, of course. I think it's cool. So let me just add some of these cool patterns that we have over here. I think some of these are really nice because, you know, Tenzing is a tribal, you know, a drink, a tribalistic drink, right? It comes from the Sherpa. So here's some cool patterns, and we've got a bunch of them. But lo and behold, we actually have one that's very triangular, like the Tenzing logo. So I want to try something like this and add this in the composition, send this to the back. So this is just a way to show you that, guys, that you can add cool shapes and, you know, get these different effects with Tenzing. Sorry, with Glorify. But yeah, let me just remove the background of this image. Cool. I'm going to add that. And go to shape settings, remove the border thickness of this graphic here, and scale this up. And we can start talking about the different aspects of this product. So let's think about what we could say. So guarana. So we need pictures, of course. They have icons on their thing, even use icons. In the look, of course, it'd be nice to see images for these ingredients. But in the event of kind of trying to show you guys something that is a bit different, I want to try go with icons. So let's see what we can get for icons. Not sure if we can get all of these, but the idea is that I'll show you guys that you can use icons to communicate features pretty powerfully. I know you can get beetroot. No, beetroot. There we go. So let's grab one of these icons, something like that. Beetroot, guarana. So guarana is some kind of like berry. I'm just going to pick something like a berry looking object and use it for guarana. Greenland rock salt, something like that would do. And let's go to icons and pick so coffee. So just find some kind of coffee beans. Coffee beans. Okay, so these are not really coffee, but let me just add something like, maybe we can try iconsate. Taking a bit too long on iconsate. Okay, there's iconsate, but let me find it's coffee beans. There we go. So let's add that. Lemon juice. Something like that could be cool. Tea, green tea. We might get something leafy. Tea or leaf. Let's see if we get that, or just leaf would do, to be honest. Boom. And rock. This is going to be an interesting one. Rock. See what we can get for rock. You know what? This would do as a rock. Cool. Okay, the idea is that we got all these icons now. Okay, so I wanted to, yeah, so let me add a specific stylizing on these icons. So let me just quickly, okay, I think I've messed up the flow here, but let me, hopefully I can correct course in a moment. Add this down and send this to back. Okay, so let's add a container. Now, what we'll do is, you know, try create something perhaps for beet sugar. And you can see underneath, they've got this kind of gold look and feel. We can try that as well. In fact, I'm going to use the colors from here and increase the border thickness. Oops, where did that go? There we go, border thickness, and there we go. Get that, grab that gold. And on settings, so sort of getting the same feeling here. But soon we're going to have gradients in Glorify for icons, I mean. Okay, so little bit of a mistake here. I should have actually searched the icons later because we don't have copy effect yet. Copy effect is a feature that we'll be getting later, but at least I know ones I need. So the process to duplicate these and create the same icon style is very simple. Once you create an icon style, you simply duplicate it, you reposition, and you go hit replace right side. And let's say for Himalayan rock salt, you just try different versions, then readjust, and of course, get the right color. So it's simple as that. So really what we're trying to do here, again, with Glorify is the ability to maximize efficiency, to find, to create your stylized and stay with your designs, you know. So if you're doing this and just simply you've created your style for your icon and then simply replacing the content, everything else stays the same, the style that you created, and it's a big time saver, and plus it allows consistency. That's the main goal here. Lemon juice, duplicate that, and we can say here, I think it was icons 8 that we got that one from. Oops. So that one, we obviously have to get icons 8 replaceable by this icon. So I'm going to pick something different here. Let's see what we got here. There we go. Something like that. There we go. This will do. And done. And final one, guarana. I think we used like berry here, didn't we, as a keyword? Cool. Okay, so we got our content. Want to make sure that we get this a bit organized. So let's move this around a bit. Okay, so what I want to do is make things a bit optimized. Take all these fonts and scale them down together so we get the same size font for everything, because they don't need to be so big on the landing page, of course. There we go. So I'm trying to align this with the triangle now. Just try something a bit different. I was trying to do a semicircle before. I think this works, although it needs a bit of finessing. What I would do is definitely change the adjustments of the can and brighten this up, contrast it up, and increase the saturation so the colors are deeper. That looks better already. And I wouldn't say that this is ready to go. Would have to play around with the background a little bit more. And some cool things that I see with Tenzing's branding is that you often see these kind of textures behind their brand, like this one here with the turquoise and stuff like that. So we could try something like that. However, I don't want to spend too much time as we're coming to the end. In the meantime, guys, as I'm finalizing and starting to wrap things up, send me some questions if you have any. I'm going to try some last bits to see if I can create something that is a little bit, I want to make sure that I want to find a color that's that kind of drives the image a little bit forwards. So let's see. Oh, look, I've got white here. We could still stick to the same color here. Okay, that's not working clearly. I think white is the way to go. What we could do is add a background of mountains again. So let me try do that. Background. Mountains, no. So you can clearly tell that beyond this moment, I haven't actually prepared anything. I did actually think about what I wanted to do for this training. This image in particular, I'm sort of I'm just kind of taking it. I'm freestyling it basically. So let me go into this image library. It's going to be better. Yeah, something like that could work. Let me add that. Right click, add as background. We're going to have to find a better position for it for sure. Reposition. There we go. And then what we need is to really subtle it out. First, let's remove the background. I don't think the background's helping here. There we go. Just around there, but then we got to make it a bit more subtle. Yeah, so I'm in two minds about this image, but I'm going to go back a few steps again and go straight into keeping it simple. Just basically removing any kind of color in the background. We could even remove this if you wanted to, and just keep the background color simple. Cool. I'm going to keep it at that. We've got this definitely could be optimized, as you can see. But in the interest of time, I'm going to skip that. So the main idea here is that, the optimized time that it would take to create your iconography for your brand, for your features, and communicate those features. Of course, in a lot of products, you can use annotations and stuff like that. And we've just released our new annotations, which are much better. And you can start to kind of point out, things to a specific product. In the case of this type of product, I don't think it's 100% necessary. Of course, you can just go with just having the icons around the object, and that would communicate the features clearly. Now, in this webinar, I won't be able to actually show you how I would do my uploading process, because the uploading process, usually what it would take, if this doesn't matter what web builder platform you're using, it could be, let's go through some of these other images. Look, it could be, Elementor, WordPress, Shopify, whatever you're using. You got to start thinking about, how would I upload these contents? And the idea when you create stuff on Glorify is not that you upload a flat image, right? You got to start downloading elements that you need, and some elements trying to use the web building platform to actually build out those elements alone, right? In another video or another training in the future, we can go through that, how to take your assets from Glorify and then add them to your web building platform seamlessly. We've got a one-click share to WordPress, which is very convenient. So if you're working on Elementor, like we have some of our websites on Elementor, it helps, or WordPress, any WordPress, third-party plugin, or WordPress itself. So with that in mind, what is the downloading process? That we'll do in another video. But to just breeze through it, all you'll be doing is literally hiding different layers, going through different layers that you want to download, selecting them and hiding the rest of the layers, and downloading layer by layer. Now, something that's really exciting for you guys to know is that very soon in the future, we will also be releasing the ability to download selected objects and crop to fit. And this is really exciting because this will help you save a ton of time. So what will happen is, basically, you select the object, you can choose a checkbox that will say crop to fit, and you download that single object selected on your canvas alone in its original proportions or size and dimension, without downloading the entire canvas. So that's going to be a game-changing feature, because if you create banners like this, you can download each element at a time and then one by one add them to your web building platform, right? And that's really helpful. Really want to optimize Glorify to help you build stunning product imagery, not just for your ad sets, not for social media, not flat image. Those are all flat images, but also responsive images for your website as well. With that, guys, I'm just going to check out what's going on in the comment section, and we can start to wrap things up. Let me see what people are saying here. Am I a web designer for Tenzing? I am not a web designer for Tenzing. Convert to HTML and CSS will be change the game. Eric, I do agree with you, and we will be thinking about working on converting designs to HTML and CSS. This is something that we hope to do, but that's not to say all the other design platforms. Some of the even web design tools like Figma, Sketch. These are big platforms that are focused on web UI or interface design. They don't necessarily, you can download the CSS code, but a lot of the times what people end up doing is just downloading element by element and uploading into the web platform, and that works seamlessly. So the first feature we will focus on, as I said, downloads, single out elements, and yeah, that I think will be the first step that we'll do. So someone said, Omar, it'd be good to walk through audience on setting up your landing page. I breezed through that. If you were in the beginning of this webinar, I did breeze through a lot of that in the beginning, and I spoke about the landing page structure. This video is more specifically oriented at creating your designs for your landing page. So to design your landing page, in the interest of time, we won't be able to actually show you how this design then gets translated and moved into the web building platform, because of unfortunately because of time. But in the future, we will try to focus on that and create another video separate for that. Someone said he's Mr. Pixel Perfect. Yeah, I am. I was getting a bit perfectionist mode on this last image, because I had a specific vision for this image, but what I realized is that it requires me to do a little bit more tweaking and thinking behind it before I get to the right position. It needs a bit more finessing, and hence why I decided to pause for the time being. Maybe there's so many different ways we could have done this. We could have just not made it a clean background. We could have framed the product. We could have had all the features aligned on the left side, because I think now I'm looking at this, I feel this is a bit messy. I feel that, but that's the beauty about design. It's an iterative process. So, if one thing doesn't work, you can just try something else and keep moving and trying different things. Now that I look, I think this is a better potential for this design, just having things aligned, because I felt that having things all over the place was a bit messy for my eyes anyway. But That's what design is. It's iterative. It requires, and what will obviously help this process for people who are not who don't want to start from scratch is just go for the templates. Look for a template that's the right fit. And the great thing is that, you know, for especially for feature focused images, we've got call out images, which is perfect for these type of things, right? So these go into call out images, and you can see a bunch of stuff here that you can use to call out these features. Okay, let me see what other questions. So someone said, if you do all the typing on the image, don't you kind of mess up SEO? Yeah, you do mess up SEO, hence why I wouldn't do the typing. The idea with designing these banners is, in some cases and many use cases, people download the flat image. A lot of people like to do that, okay? It won't impact SEO if you then take the same text and add that as your keyword structure. But at the same time, what you can do is simply take, like I said, download element by element, except minus the text, only the images, the backgrounds, the textures, the text, and then use the final image as a reference to then organize your elements on the web builder. Let me see what else. All right, guys, I'm going to start to wrap up as it's almost way past our time. Can we design logo or any other content with transparent background? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many ways to do that. You know, to answer Mr. Sharp's question on how can we design a logo and content with transparent background, whatever the case it is, to download something in a transparent format, one of the easiest ways to do that is I'm going to duplicate this image to simply delete, you know, the pieces that you don't want. And what I would do is just delete everything that I don't want. And the part that's transparent, let's say I want this image in a transparent format so that I can add it on my website. Great. So you just simply do that, delete everything that you don't want, and then go to download, transparent image, and download that. That will get you your transparent image. All right, guys, thanks a lot. I've went through all the questions. With that, we can start to wrap up. I'll catch up with you soon, guys. Thanks a lot for being here. Stay glorious, Glorify community. And if there's anything else that you guys want to learn in terms of Glorify, do drop it in the comments, drop it in the community group. There's plenty of things that we'd love to share from our knowledge and kind of expertise. And yeah, what we hope to do within these webinars over the weeks is that either myself or one of our team members will come and deliver some content and show you how to do a specific design or create something for any particular platform. And so having your feedback and thoughts on what you want to know would be really, really helpful. Subscribe to our newsletters because we get, you know, reminders and updates to that. If you're not subscribed already, go to the website and get subscribed. Follow this video will be replayed on the community, in YouTube, everywhere, so you can find it everywhere on the channels if you want to replay it. And with that said, I'll catch up with you soon. Take care, guys. Bye.